Tonia here, your host of the Alchemy of Me, where we navigate the anatomy of humanity through the lens of science and spirituality. Let's unearth the layers and unravel the systems in place that dim who we are and how we live and experience life. On this journey together, we'll weave in an eclectic blend of mind, body, energy medicine, concepts, tools, and practices that'll nourish the seeds, the fire, that gold of intelligence that is you. This is an opportunity, your opportunity to reclaim, to rediscover, to transform, to alchemize you. The Alchemy of Me show starts now. Hello. I am Tonia, your host of The Alchemy of Me, where we navigate the anatomy of humanity through the lens of science and spirituality. And today I am here with Beau Bowker. Hi, Beau.
Hello, Tonia. Thank you so much for inviting me here.
Thank you. I'm really excited to see how our conversation and our weaving unfolds, knowing that we're gonna be talking about heart today and kind of
Hmm.
how we're living life from the heart and what that looks like. And in preparation of that, I did none. And because it's we're living from the heart, right? And so there's no thinking. So
Right.
whatever comes forward is what's meant to be. Obviously, I know you, Beau, and I honor your humanness, and I honor
Hmm.
your just how you from day one, since I have met you, and we've started, you know, weaving, I guess, in this lifetime. It's been cool to just see how open you are, how you
Hmm.
lead with your heart, and you can kind of, I just felt that right away. And so
Hmm.
let me share. So, because I want to share kind of your background to anyone that's tuning in. So, Beau is a breathwork facilitator, an intuitive guide, a cacao ceremonialist, a Reiki master, and founder of Rebel Heart Medicine. Beau is led by a deep calling to help others find their true essence, feel their power, and free their spirit. Through these heart opening modalities and his intuitive gifts, Beau has supported countless rebel hearts as they heal their fears, uncertainty, and limiting beliefs.
Hmm.
Beau is by human design, if anybody's familiar with that, a projector. So he has a keen ability to truly see people on a soul and spiritual level, seeing the light within each one of us beyond all the stories, personality, and ego. Ego, wow. Ego.
Hmm.
This aids in seeing through to the heart of the matter as well as the true heart of the person. So welcome again. Is there anything else you wanna share?
I think you nailed it. I mean, between your the intro for the show and sharing about living from the heart and what my mission and service here is on this journey and in this lifetime. I'm just feeling very pumped up. I'm like, oh
Yeah.
yeah, here we go. And also, yes, I feel so much emotion coming up, of just gratitude, to be here and to be talking about such a thing with you and knowing that these ideas and these truths are being received by anyone open to listening,
Yeah.
that there's an audience for people, wanting to expand and return home to their heart and to grow and to see how far we can go into love, how far we can go with love. Love is always what I come back to,
Hmm.
where when we talk about um whether it's spirit or a higher power or just your highest self, right? It's all about returning home to love, that thing, that thread that connects all beings. I call it love. And
Mm.
yeah.
Ah, there you go. There it is. We're done.
Good night, everyone. Thank you.
Good night. Good morning, wherever you are at. Yeah, and it's funny because I guess the one invitation, when we were kind of talking about what this looked like, that came forward for me was, how we met, which was through cacao. And,
Yeah.
you know, cacao, you've been on the cacao journey longer than I have. And I know for me, it's been a couple of years and it's become part of my daily practice. And it's funny because um, it was such an invitation to go into the heart deeper, and just being able to sense into that. So I would love to, I guess the invitation I'll just mention is, us sharing a cup of cacao, and then um, if you want to like just guide us through one of your just beautiful, um, yeah, kind of connection breath work type, just whatever comes forward. And
Sure.
then obviously, like, the beautiful part of this is that, if it resonates with listeners, then they can come back to this, and this is a tool that they can add to their toolbox, or if they're just curious, if they've never connected in this way, it's an invitation.
I love that. Absolutely. And yeah, it's interesting as you're talking too, I'm recognizing that, we all have our own journey. We all have,
Mhm.
I mean, of course, but we all have along that journey, we all have those different modalities that come to each one of us. And for some people, it's yoga is the part, a huge part of their path, and for
Mhm.
me it's been the heart opening modalities of breath work and cacao. Those things
Mhm.
just swooped right into my life and opened me right up, but it's different for every person. And so we will have a cacao
Yay.
invocation. um, and
Cheers.
and yeah, and if you're listening, and you are, and you don't have cacao with you, it's an opportunity. Really, cacao it's a plant medicine that is, it is, it is a vasodilator. So it is opening up your heart on a physiological level. And whatever's happening on that physical level, it's also happening on a metaphysical level, right? So when you think of it as like that vasodilator, which means it's dilating, opening up, broadening your passageways of your veins and everything connected to the vascular system, so that your energy, your life force energy, if we're talking physical, all right, it's
Yeah.
your blood, it's the oxygen and the nutrients therein. And so it's moving more freely through you. And the mirror on the metaphysical side is it's doing it energetically too. Right? If it's
Mhm.
happening physically, there's an energetic component to it. So when that heart is opening, it's not just the blood and the nutrients, it's your chi, your prana, your essence, the love that you are, your spirit. It's
Mhm.
opening and it's flowing more freely through you. And the point is, if you don't have a cup of cacao, this is just an invitation to rest where you are for a moment, pull over if you're driving,
Nice.
and and you can do this with a cup of water. You can do this with a cup of tea. You can do this by placing your hands on your heart. So you don't have to have this plant medicine to do it. And you can if you're curious, maybe in the future.
Yeah.
So,
You do put on some pretty amazing ceremonies. I'll just throw that in there
oh,
for anybody
thank
that
you.
has a curiosity. We'll share your info later on.
Thank you so much. And I'll keep it,
Yeah.
because this is, I think we're doing an hour podcast, so I'll keep it short. Some of mine can go pretty long, but but I'll try to keep it tight.
It's okay. However, whatever needs to come through.
Yeah, it's a 40-minute invocation
Yes.
podcast. So wherever you are, safely closing down your eyes or gently resting your gaze upon something fixed in front of you. And either bringing your cup of whatever it is up to your heart or your hands and placing those on your heart. That's what we're here for in this moment, is to connect more deeply with our heart. And so just by giving it that physical attention, that physical touchstone, that we are here and present and coming home to sit with the light within our heart. Let's take some gentle but deep breaths in through the nose and let it out through the mouth. A few more like that, feeling free on the exhale to make some sound, to let some energy move. Ah, all of this energy that we have a tendency, many of us, to bottle up. All that energy wants to do is to move. All our heart wants to do is be felt. All of those heavier feelings within us that we tend to take on, they just want to be felt so that they can be released. And breathing in through the nose, we're just relaxing our mind, soothing our mind with the medicine of the breath, letting it know that it's okay to let go, that it's okay to not be in control right now, that it's okay to shift into the heart. And we honor our brilliant minds as a fantastic tool, but we give it the permission to follow the heart and let go of its insistence on leading. So now we can shift that breath in through the mouth and breathing down into the belly and filling up the chest and letting it go gently through the mouth. And just continuing our breath like that, in through the mouth. Breathing into the heart so that we can activate it and give it that permission to be seen and heard and fully felt, to be acknowledged as our home, as our true leader. Filling it with every breath with all of the fuel that it needs. Filling it with integrity, filling it with grace and compassion. Really, all of that is already alive within it. We're just allowing it to expand and to wake up. Just letting yourself settle into this space where you are right now, wherever you are, however you are, whatever is present with you, knowing that it is perfect. It is divinely ordered. It is happening. It is being felt. You are where you are because it is an important part of your journey. Knowing that we are free in love to change and to grow, and trusting that it will happen in its own time. And it is happening and guided through love. That every part of you is worthy of love. the part that gets angry, part that feels heavy and sad, part that is afraid, the part that insists on controlling, and the part that wants to play, part that wants to dance, part that wants to write, that wants to sing, wants to hold your dear ones close, part that is gracious, kind. It is all welcome. We reach out, reach up, reach down to the spirit of cacao, this magical gift of the earth inspired by the divine that has come here, been here for thousands and thousands of years, opening hearts, connecting us to Mother Earth and connecting us to our inner child and our highest self, to the divine, magical, inspiring energy all around us. So we thank you, Mama Cacao, for serving at this time, for serving for these thousands of years. And we thank the stewards of this plant medicine, those who were so keenly attuned to the earth, to the divine, to see your pods, to see this tree growing, and to know that it was a gift, to know that it was there for them to work with, for them to create, to co-create heart-opening medicine. So we thank the Mayo Chinchipe people, thank the Olmec, the Maya, the Toltec, the Aztec, all those who may have come before and all those who have come after have kept the seeds alive so that we may receive this medicine here in this moment now, to assist us on our journey, to help us return home to our heart, to support us in going within and loving every part of ourselves. And in gratitude and in reverence for this medicine, for this journey, for this life, for this world, for this universe, may we make that promise, make that pledge to keep the seeds alive and lay them at the feet of the next generation so that they may use this medicine along their journey, however they may need it. So with love for ourselves, for all beings, and in gratitude and reverence for Mama Cacao, for life, for the opportunity to remember the love that we are, let us drink. Let us open our hearts. Let us be supported. Let us be alive. With that, we drink. Just allowing yourself to sense any shift within yourself. Find anything you can, anything that's coming through to be grateful for, to be in touch with, to be more aware of. When you're ready, when you feel complete, just gently blinking open your eyes. Coming back into your space. It was a
Thank
little
you,
long.
Bo. No, that was perfect. It was really funny though because I could feel my heart was like, I'm ready. I'm ready.
What is your heart ready for?
Just to continue, just to allow myself to be open, to be
Mm,
open to giving and receiving love, having that,
mm,
yes, sometimes it hurts. I mean,
mm,
you brought that up, that feeling the feelings as they are, it's the anger, it's the sadness or the heaviness, and really feeling into that because with that becomes, um, it's one of those, experiences where it's almost without words because it is so, um, because it can bring you to almost like a state of bliss,
mm,
when you're just, you could be crying your eyes out and they're tears of absolute joy, because you're like, this is me. And I'm connected to everything, and everyone. We are connected. When you are good and you are happy and you're living, life in alignment with your why,
mm,
that fills my heart,
mm,
right? And it's the same with everyone, it's that whole idea of like when we come from here, and it's that, and I think we'll probably talk about that, just the idea of the universal love and what that is,
mm.
and how that feels. Let's maybe just let's take a pause there and take a little break. Allow people to maybe, anyone that's tuning in to maybe, take another sip of cacao or tea or water to transition. And then when we come back, we'll, we'll get back at it. But in the meantime, or before we break, do you want to just share your website or contact information so people, if it resonates, with listeners, they can reach out.
Absolutely, yes. So my website is rebelheartmedicine.com, and Instagram is Rebel Heart Medicine. And you can find me there. You can contact me through any of those means, and really, what Rebel Heart, when Rebel Heart came through, Rebel Heart Medicine came through, is like, that's the name. That's the banner. Uh, I'm not a rebel. Like, I'm not, the old, I'm not James Dean, or, like the old school sort of vision of that. However, the way that it came through is, you know, uh, what that means, to me, that rebel heart is that heart that's always, coming home, because there's
Mm.
so much that is telling us to play small, or to let ourselves get lost in the distraction, and the heaviness, right, of the human
Yes.
experience, and all of the noise and the things around us, and the chase of more and bigger and different, and yeah, and it's not even just that sort of, commercial, more and bigger and different. It's just that heaviness too, of like, oh, I got knocked down by
Mm.
divorce or death, or, loss or whatever. And there's just so many reasons to stop. And there's just so many reasons to get lost. And, I think it takes a rebellious heart to say, no, I'm going to keep coming home to love. So that's what I'm
Oh,
here to help people.
Oh,
to do myself, and it's a constant process, you know,
yes.
and to support anyone who's open to that journey, you know,
Mm,
and to
that's,
invite more people into that journey, you know.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's all an invitation.
Right. Yes.
Yeah, to come home.
Mm.
Thank you. We're gonna come. I wanna come back to that after the break. So we will be right back. Welcome back, Tonia here, host of the Alchemy of Me, and I am joined by Beau Bowker, and we are having a beautiful conversation centered around living life from the heart. And so we just went through a beautiful journey into the heart and kind of explored that, and we started kind of talking about rebel heart medicine and what it is you do. And I would love to kind of continue on with that thread and really just invite you to maybe share some of your story. I think there's so much power in stories
Mm.
and allowing ourselves to just be in this space of vulnerability.
Mm.
And then especially like honoring you as, knowing um, you are doing this beautiful work of the heart, and you're doing it from a space of just such beauty. And I just want to
Mm.
honor that and just kind of like, yeah, just maybe normalize. That's what I want to do. I want to, because you are a human, I am a
Mm.
human, and we're doing this work. And then really it's like you have a story, and it's a story, I think, that is a reminder that we all have we all have our shit. We all
You
have that
bet.
stuff. And so we don't need to hide. We don't need to hide that. It's a
Yeah.
beautiful part of the human experience, even when it's hard.
Yes.
So
Yes.
can you just, whatever is coming up, whatever is presencing would be amazing if you'd be just open to sharing.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. And on that point too about having our shit, like we have to have our stuff, you
Yes.
know, and that's what I want to normalize too, is like honoring and that we have stuff and honoring the stuff itself, you know. One of the ways that I invite people to release things is by it, can they do it in love? And
Mm.
that can be a real edge for people, you know. Can you love the anger, that part of you that was angry, right? You know, because you
Mm.
didn't get your needs met as a child, right? That because that inner child, that part of you that's acting out now is that inner child that's angry because it didn't get his or her needs met when they were little. And so can we have some grace and love for that part of ourselves, you know? Because when we do, like, and look, you can send it away, transmute it, and, you know, let it go and everything like that, and alchemize it, you know. And a lot of this is part of the breathwork process, but also, you know, when we can bring love, you know, and even gratitude, like, hey, thank you for teaching me, you know. I took this on because I needed to learn whatever this taught me, you know, and now I get to move beyond it, right? And
Mhm.
and that's really, you know, which doesn't sound like it, but that leads us into my journey, right? Because what I'm
Yeah.
here to teach and hold space for is based on what I've been through, you know, and part of what I've been through is tremendous loss. You know, I had a period in 2000 and end of 2009, beginning of 2010, where my brother passed away, my mother passed away, and then my dog passed away, you know, within the span of like 5 months.
Mm.
And you know, I throw the dog in there too because that was just like the real kicker where it's like, really,
Yeah.
really, God, like,
Comfort. I mean, they're
yeah,
there to comfort you in those times
absolutely.
unconditionally.
Right. You know, and so, and so that completely turned my life upside down. And those were my brother and my mother were my two closest people in my life. And flash forward to 10 years later. um it was end of 2019, beginning of 2020, and I had started dabbling in breath work a little bit, and I knew that something big was coming up, that something
Mm.
big needed to shift, in my life. I was also, 2 years or a year and a half maybe into fatherhood at that time, 2 years into fatherhood. I have two beautiful twins,
Mm.
boy girl twins, and I was also, you know, there's so much going on within me, right? So much that was a part of me that was still grieving, so much trying to figure out how am I stepping into this new phase of my life, with being a father. Um, and, and, and also witnessing, I had for a long time, I was a stand-up comedian and a comedy writer, for a long time, and a lot of what I would talk about is like criticizing the new masculine, which
I,
like at that time,
yeah.
my view was like, everybody's a wuss now. Like this was my
I,
judgment. This was my comedy brain, for anybody that's getting triggered by this. I was like, what
yeah.
happened? Everybody's a wuss. What are we doing?
Mhm.
And I think, when I speak it from my heart, I think part of what I was witnessing was, um, men have been in this place where, um, we are, we're not, it's frowned upon when we get angry or when we express, you know, um, yeah, big emotions in a way that often comes naturally to men, which is through anger, right?
Mhm.
Um, so we're not, and so you're not supposed to fight. You're not supposed to show aggression, and then also like, you're not supposed to cry, right? Like it's like a lot of these sort of, and I know that they're generalizations, but they are some of the energies that are at play in society. And I and witnessing my son, even at 2 years old, I was and witnessing myself as a father, I was like, I need to figure out how to step more into my masculinity. Because part of why I was criticizing and making jokes about, this aspect of society, this experience of masculinity, was because I didn't know how to do it. I didn't know
Mm.
how to get in touch with my, divine masculinity. I didn't even know what that meant at that time. And my nephew, who was in his early 20s at the time, he had just gone to this men's retreat, and he showed me some like clips of it, and like, and I saw it, and it was all about embracing your masculinity and being with other men. And as I looked at his picture and as I saw their video, and they're called Sacred Sons, they're very big now. Um, and they do a lot of men's work. And when I saw it, it scared the heck out of me. Like I
Mm.
saw these men crying together. I saw these men like wrestling, and I saw these men yelling, and like especially the wrestling part. I was like, "Oh my!" Like here I was being like, "Everybody's a wuss now." Like, and
Yeah.
then I'm like, "Oh no, that is frightening." Like, oh, oh my. And so at that point, I was aware enough that if it scared me, that I needed to do it, that there was some part of me that needed to face it and to feel it and to see what there was for me. And so I signed
Mm.
up and I went and I did it. And around that time too, like I said, I was dabbling in breath work, and I had a very deep experience during breath work where I felt my brother's, he was sick for a long time, and
Mm.
I felt him and what he experienced during his sickness. I was crying. like wailing, crying during the breath work. And I heard myself, and I recognized that that's not what I sound like. That's what he sounded like when he was sick. And I felt him. And during that breath work, he released me from
Mm.
taking on his pain, that I had been carrying with me uh, subconsciously for those 10 years. Um, and he released me. And I asked him during the breath work, do you need me to take this on for you? And he said, I got this. And then um, and I was free, I was free in a new way. Um, and then I went outside shortly after that, and I was playing with my son, and he was uh, and he was walking on something that, as a father, I was like, whoa, like, hey, do you need help? Like, are you okay? Like a super high wall, he's 2 years old, and I'm like, you just learned how to walk. You sure you want to go for the 6 foot wall? And he told me, he's like, I got this. And he had never said that to
Mm.
me before. And I just felt, um, I just felt all of the power, all of the synchronicity. I felt how I was healing the past with my brother. I was healing the present within myself, and I was healing for my son too. Um, and then a matter of days later, I went to this Sacred Sons retreat. It was only three days, and I went all in, and I just showed up. And the reason why I do this so much, I put my hand on my heart, is because it's just become a habit ever since that weekend. Um, I just found myself just standing there like this for 3 days and witnessing these men open their hearts and look each other. It started with looking each other in the eye, which for me, I didn't do a lot of that,
Mm.
perhaps especially with other men, because of the way that I was raised. And I was made to feel stupid if I asked questions or how to do something, you know. Uh, and yeah, to be able to look another man in the eye and just feel each other and hug each other and see each other as brothers, you know, hearing other people's stories about their shit, as you said,
Mhm.
and how much they've been through and how much I've been through, and you know, um, and so I just stood there like this for 3 days. And and when I came home, well, and during the process, um, I knew that, look, yes, everybody has their path, um, and um, and everything is perfect. And my brother and my mother, they were called back to source, right? And
Yeah.
it is absolutely their karma and what needed to happen, and it was part of my karma. And what I saw too is, it if my brother was able to connect with other men, or to let go of all of that pain that he was carrying since he was a little boy,
Mhm.
that he wouldn't have drank himself to death, you know. Um, that's what happened. And I know what a big, beautiful heart my brother had. And I wish he had the opportunity to, and felt safe enough to share it. And so it was during that time. It was actually during. It was affirmed. It was like, so during my breath work, when I felt my brother like that, I came out of it and I said, I need to help people, you know, um, do this work and feel this relief, and to let this stuff go, um, and to feel their hearts open up, to the truth that you spoke of earlier. It's like that connection to universal love.
Yeah.
I if I can feel this, like it's like, hey, you guys got to try this, like, you know.
Yeah.
And then when I went to that retreat, that was when I knew I couldn't say no. I couldn't say like, no, I want to be an actor. I couldn't do it. Um, it was it there was no saying no. It was an absolute calling, and I had to, and I was grateful for the opportunity to say yes to it. And when I came home, um, I was I was literally, and I feel it again as I talk about it. So thank you for the
Me
opportunity to
too.
speak about it. Like I'm tingling, and that's what I felt when I came home from that retreat. And I didn't know what it was at the time. Like I just knew that I
Yeah.
was completely different. But what I understand now is that my heart blasted wide open, and I was tingling for at least a week, physically tingling,
Mm.
and it was lovely. Like, and
Yeah.
and I wasn't funny anymore, and like because which was like
That
I
is
was like,
funny.
oh no, what's going on? I'm not funny anymore, and it was because I didn't need to be, like my humor is a gift, right? But also, like any gift, you can use it for good or you can use it for harm. And I've used it in both ways.
Yeah.
And so I dropped when your heart opens up, you're free to drop your personality. You don't need to be
Mm.
anything for anybody or for yourself to fit in the world because your heart is enough. Love is enough. And then when I was ready, I was like, all right, let me pick it back up in a responsible way where I'm not demeaning, where I'm not distracting, where I'm not avoiding hard conversations or, you know, um,
Yeah.
yeah. And so I picked it back up. I'm a little funnier now than I was that week. And then yeah, I went into therapy. I've been in therapy since like a couple weeks before my mother died.
Mm.
And and so for 10 years I was in therapy and my therapist didn't recognize me. She was like, "What happened?" And I was like, "I don't know." I don't know. And
Cracked wide
I
open.
yeah, and I was just so calm and so measured and like I was talking differently and I felt different and that was the last time I saw her. Because um she couldn't accept that this happened through a bunch of men.
Mm.
Sometimes, yes, yelling and screaming together, sometimes wrestling together, but also having sound baths together, drinking cacao together, doing cold plunges together, hugging and holding each other, dancing together. Um, she couldn't, she couldn't accept it. She couldn't, um, it was, it was too challenging for her and what she had taken on in what was possible, and she didn't see that it was possible. um yeah, so I had to
Which
go.
is, oh my gosh. Thank you for sharing
Yeah,
all of that. Um, and it's obviously not, I mean, this again, I don't know if normalizing it is the right word, but it feels at least right in this moment in the sense of like,
mm,
we all have, um, I could feel your brother as we're talking
mm,
about him. And it's
mm,
like I mean, he's very present.
yeah,
And I think where do I want, there's so many things coming up, through your story and the power of that story, because there are different ways to heal,
yeah,
right? And there can be anger, and there can be that sadness and that just that revolving door that we don't recover from when we
Mm.
don't allow ourselves to do what it is we need to do in order to um, there's that, the acceptance that they're not physically here. But it's like he did, like you said, it's like so hard, and yet it was a gift in the
Yeah.
end. Whether, there's ways karma or, it's a gift because you allowed it to be a gift.
Mm.
And through
Mm.
that process, um, you are honoring his legacy and who he was and the impact that he made in your life by all of the people that you touch,
Mm.
through your work and you showing up and shining as you.
Yeah.
And that is obviously like you're making like, and I say you, and it's when I say that, I'm literally saying it to all of us, right?
Yes.
Like, because each of us has the capacity to align in this way. And we don't all have to be breath workers. We don't all have
Right.
to have like it's us. I think back to, maybe for my own journey, like some would say it's that she's having a midlife crisis,
Right.
which started in my early 30s, but it was really, I see it as it's a coming back to center. It's a
Yeah.
coming back home to my heart. And I think a lot of us that have gone through, and the way you described it, it felt very synchronistic to my own, because it was a invitation to come home.
Mm.
And you said yes,
Yes.
even though it
Mm.
was scary. And I I could think of my own, there was a series of really, really hard things. And I feel like, you know, almost like kicking and screaming, where
Yep.
it's like, how many more things are going to happen, quote unquote, to me? Which that was there was an invitation, but it's how and I think a lot of us, it's that whole like, do we embrace it as this just sucks? Like
Right.
it's hard. And what is where's the power? Where's the, like, there's so much there that we can honor. And so I will share, because we talked about it. I'm gonna have my tissue. Um, Obviously really present in my life. And I guess I don't, maybe I didn't know that that's how your brother passed. And so, as you know, I lost an aunt
Mm.
um, last week to suicide. And I, this, the love I have for her and the love my whole family has for her is the love, there's confusion and not understanding. And there's so much, it's all the emotions. It's all the emotions. And this is, not the first relative I've lost this way. And I can say why this feels important to share is how I am showing up in this process in honoring her. It is completely different. And
Mm.
so, it is there is sadness and maybe that not understanding, but then also it's like I feel her love, like
Mm.
having time to sit and hold her in my heart, and an invitation to hold ceremony with her,
Mm.
to sit with her.
Mm.
um, and it was funny because my son, my 11-year-old, um, he asked me, as it's the beautiful thing about our children, when you mention your son, the gift that they bring to us,
Yes.
um, by seeing through a different lens. And he just asked me, what will you remember or maybe
Mm,
miss most about her?
mm,
And my heart hurt when he said that. But then at the same time, it was, you can feel no matter how closed off I was at times earlier on, she gave the best hugs.
mm.
And you could feel it's like her hugs and her love of of others could pierce any like heart wall that I had at the time when I was like not feeling my own stuff.
Yeah.
And so it's like just honoring her and her light and your brother's light
Mm,
and just I think anyone who is maybe in that place where they feel that it's that there isn't love there or that they
yeah.
aren't loved or if there's something, it's just there is so much love. And so reaching out, don't uh don't be afraid to allow for the abundance that is universal love.
Mm, yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whether you're ready for a shift because you just feel that sense of, my life's not working right now, right? Or you've been
Yeah.
through that experience of everything is going to hell, right? Like you
Yes.
talked about getting cracked wide open and feeling like,
Yes.
God, what's next?
Yep.
Um, or whether you feel like you just can't take anymore, right? Um, if we can just allow ourselves to be held, you know, and the and the caveat to that, or the trick to that, or maybe the other side of that is, for those of us who are around those people, right, that we sense might be feeling something, or maybe you don't, but the point is, people need to feel safe.
Yeah.
They need to feel safe to be held, to be heard, to be seen, you know. I mean, and some people just don't want to be seen, right?
Yeah.
Um, but and we can't force them, you know.
No. We're
But
all our own journey.
yeah, absolutely. But the more safety that we can provide for everybody around us, and yeah, there's so many ways of doing that. And perhaps one way is to, you know, open our own hearts, to show that we feel safe, allowing our vulnerability around our
Hmm.
loved ones, um and yeah, and just to always keep that invitation open, right? And maybe it's not
Mm.
just through words of like, hey, tell me how you're feeling, like,
Yeah.
but just showing up, or you know whatever we can do to just be that safe space for people around us. Mm,
Mm.
yeah.
Thank you, Beau. Thank you for being here and shining your light and being
Mm,
open in a clear channel to allow the love to come through. And I just, yeah, opportunity, invitation to everyone to be open to living life from the heart.
yeah, yeah, and it's just, it's really about loving ourselves,
Yeah.
self-love. And that is, it's such a buzz term and everything, but it's for a reason, right? It's
Yeah.
because that is the crux of everything. And for me, it's, here's a cheat, for everybody. If you're
Yes.
looking for how to get into self-love, um, you know, I if you can make a list and see how, of the reasons why you love yourself. And um, just as an exercise to see how hard or how easy that is. How many things can you list, right? How hard, how long does it take for, for the answers to come, for the reasons to come? Some people can't find any. Some
Mhm.
people can find three real easy, and then it's like, all right, four is going to take me a minute. Some people can get to 10, and
Yeah.
maybe that's, and I learned that from my breathwork teacher, David Elliott. And so that's a practice I come home to every once in a while. And for me, so that can be like a metric just to see where you're at with your relationship with loving yourself, allowing yourself to feel and be loved, because if you, yeah, but
Love that.
the little trick is, if you believe in a higher power or the energy of Mother Earth or whatever it is that you believe in, um, how does that higher power, how does spirit, um, how does the universe look at you? You know, because I mean, the way that I experience the universe is there's no judgment, right? The
Mhm.
universe isn't looking at me and being like, be better. Like, you know, he's pretty good, but he needs to work on his tone when he talks to his partner, like all these things, right? Um, it's allowing ourselves to unconditionally love ourselves just as the universe unconditionally loves us, because that's the
Mhm.
thing. It's always, like you said, there's these experiences that we go through and they're an invitation. And the universe is always offering us these invitations to come home to our heart, to say yes to that healing modality or that experience that's going to open up our hearts, you know. Um, and if you say no this time, it's okay. The universe is going to
Yeah.
ask again.
Yes.
So, but eventually,
Over and
sometimes it's
over.
like, right. And sometimes, as I've found, it's like, it starts with a little tap on the shoulder, and then it's like a, hey, buddy, come on.
Yeah.
And then I've had times where, the universe is like, come on, we're
Yes.
going,
Yeah.
and how much resistance are you putting up to it? So,
Yeah.
say yes to those invitations of into love, even if
Yes.
they're a little scary.
Yes. Oh, thank you, Bo. Thank you. Um, every time we interact,
Mm.
it fills my heart. So
Mm.
thank you for that. Thank you for being you. Um,
Mm.
so I think we need to wrap up because we could go on forever.
Yeah, I could with you and the safe space that you create,
Yeah.
Thank you,
Oh,
Tonia, for having me. It's
thank
such an
you.
honor and a gift. I think I said to you during the break that I really needed this, you know. Uh,
Same.
and so thank you, and thank you to anybody who listened with even just a sliver of an open heart.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
yeah, sending blessings to you. And thank you for doing this and creating this space. And yeah, and shout out to Moxie.
Oh,
For,
yeah, Moxie, producer.
yeah, thank you.
Thanks, Moxie.
Mm,
All right. Well, we will, yeah, we'll see everyone next time. Take care.
mm. Thank you.
Thank you for listening to The Alchemy of Me, where we navigate the anatomy of humanity through the lens of science and spirituality. For more mind, body, energy, medicine concepts, tools, and practices to nourish the seeds, the light, the fire, that gold of intelligence that is you, tune in every first and third Wednesday at 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time on transformationtalkradio.com. For more information about me and my work, please visit toniajohnson.com. That's toniajohnson.com.